Blog Talk Radio.
Something's gone wrong. For all our vigilance and battle scars over the Bill of Rights, we let the flame of freedom's torch grow cold. Because there can be no torch to pass where there's no flame. Freedom has only one enemy it cannot defeat, and that is negligence. So your presence here, now, today, is an act of reverence. Of all man's works beneath the heavens, none shines brighter than our Constitution. I think Jefferson and Paine, Adams, Madison, Mason, Franklin, I think they're looking down right now at us. I think they understand what we're trying to do, what we strive to do. Every time our country stands in the path of danger, an instinct seems to summon her finest first, those who truly understand her. When freedom shivers in the cold shadow of true peril, it's always the patriots who first hear the call. When loss of liberty is looming, as it is now, the siren sounds first in the hearts of freedom's vanguard.
Good evening, everybody. This is Joe Joseph. Welcome to another edition of Freedomlink Radio on Sunday, February 13th, 2011. Tomorrow, Valentine's Day. And let me tell you something. Hey, John, Valentine's Day is kind of important to you in the web bud, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And for all the lovers around the world, happy Valentine's Day. And to my wife, happy Valentine's Day and happy anniversary. And to everyone else, the point of no return.
And, of course, the show wouldn't be half of what it is without the incredible Griff. Griff? How you doing, buddy? I haven't talked to you in a couple days.
I'm doing fine, Joe. Years ago, the state of Virginia paid the Martin Advertising Agency here in Richmond some incredible amount, over $100,000, to come up with a little slogan, Virginia is for lovers.
Yes.
Can you believe that?
Boy, have they got their money for that,
They made out like
or what?
a bandit.
Yeah.
And then they made bumper stickers for cars for them. It may have been over $100,000 for that. Anyway, that came to mind with your mention of Valentine's.
Money well spent there, huh?
I guess so.
Well, there's a lot to talk about in the headlines. I mean, just over the weekend, there's a lot of things going on. Egypt's military's taken over. They've suspended the Constitution and pretty much come out and said that for the next 6 months they'll be in control or until a popular election takes place. But Griff, do you think that the idea of democracy, do you think that's a good idea over there? I mean, what is...
No, it's not a good idea anywhere. There has never been a government on the face of the earth that was democratic. Never, ever,
well, that's
and
the
never
truth.
will be.
That's the truth. But what do you think, what do you envision going down here in Egypt? Because if you notice, too, the contagion is spreading. Algeria is now rioting. The Internet is shut down there. Italy, Silvio Berlusconi just squeaks by with a vote of confidence, 314 to 311. And riots are breaking out in the streets all over Italy. And what do you attribute all this to, Griff?
The quest for power and money and evil, pure evil. And I want to tell you up front here in the first few minutes of the program, I feel very sober tonight, very, very sober. I've never felt this way, the urgency that I feel tonight.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that you normally come to the show sauced.
I've never been accused of that. No, I just feel very urgent about everything tonight, and things I'm going to say tonight. I have given for the people listening. We never plan what happens here. It's all spontaneous, every bit of it. But I've given some thought to some things I need to say tonight. We're past the 11th hour. We're in the last few minutes, and things are going to start happening here in the United States. They have been happening, but they're going to accelerate now. It is the beginning of major change in the world. The so-called People's Revolution in Egypt was not a revolution. It had nothing to do with revolution. The people were used. The tree huggers and animal lovers were used over there for other goals, like it's happened in the United States many times. The black people, the NAACP, and those organizations are always used in the United States. They are. And other organizations, the homosexual organizations, are used in the United States. They don't think they're used, but they are. You have an agenda, and you figure how to do it, and you play it out, and that's exactly what happened over there. It had nothing to do with freedom or democracy or betterment of the people or the better lifestyle. It had to do with toppling the government to put a militant Arab government in place to go after Israel and to control a strategic geographic land with the Suez and Israel and spread from Egypt into other countries, and that's what's happening. People just haven't got it. You know, I have said a couple of 3 or 4 times I've been doing this for 11 years, and I am just sadly disappointed. You can talk to people, you can draw pictures for them, you can explain it in block diagram, and they still don't get it.
No, you're absolutely right.
The number of people that have benefited from my 11 years, or you can count them on one hand. The rest of the people just don't get it, and they will not do what you tell them to do, even though it's in their best interest. And I'm here to tell you that what is at our doorsteps right now with Obama doing what he's doing, he's deliberately playing out an agenda. He's pulling the plug on this country. He's done it in the early days of his presidency. He didn't go in that health care thing for naught. He created confusion, chaos, division, much division, and that's exactly what he intended to do. He's not saving money. He just obligated more hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars. And at the same time, there were 3 presidents, as we were financially being devastated. Now listen to this. 3 presidents, Bush, Clinton, and Obama, refused to let part of the $27 trillion WANTA money go back into the Treasury. They refused to let it go back into the United States Treasury. That would have taken care of all of the United States problems and all of the debts. They refused to allow it, and they went after WANTA. Some of the things they did to this man, who was trying to protect the money and get it back into the Treasury, and 3 presidents refused. Now, what does that tell you? Now, I'm here to tell you the WANTA story is true. We know people that worked there with him that are still alive. And it's true. Any doubts that you had about WANTA's $27 trillion, forget it. It's a true thing. European countries are failing because of that event. And they're blaming Freddie Mac. I can't get that right, Joe. I must have a brain dysfunction or something. So the more you know, the worse it is. And you try to tell people, they don't understand it. It's too complicated for people to understand. Too complicated. And, in fact, the notion that people are going to die over this thing in the United States by the millions, they can't conceive of it, especially the young people. The young people have no clue what you're talking about, and they don't want to listen to it. They have their agendas, and they are going to do what they want to do. Many of the old people are very much the same way. They won't listen to you.
No, of
and
course
they will
not. They're set in their ways. They're set in their ways, Griff. And the same can be said for what people are used to. You know, it's very hard to accept change in any way, shape, or form. Change kind of sucks, and as you get older, change sucks even more.
Well,
and I know I'm giving
the family is
lollipop
going to die. Your children are going to die.
Griff,
everybody is going to die unless they get off their duff and listen to this.
Griff,
and it's yes. Joe.
People are going to go on forever and do what they're going to do because life is going to go on the way it is, the way it always will be to them. You know, it's kind of it's kind of like the my old man telling me about, you know, well, if you're in the stock market, you're in it for the long haul. You know, there's going to be ups and downs. History has shown that there's ups and history. Since when is 60, 70 years history, Griff? You know, it's a snapshot in time. And my
the
problem
stock market is not an indicator of anything today, Joe.
Of course not. That's what I'm saying. But that's where people live. They live in this alternate reality. And the fact is, there's a lot of things going on around them that they're not paying attention to. So they're living in this fairy tale world and thinking that, you know, I need to have something to hand over to my kids and everything else. There isn't going to be anything to give over to your kids. You know, that's the problem.
Well, it's worse than that.
Sure, of course.
Not only will you not have any investments, you will not have anything. You will not have food. You will not have shelter. You will not have water. That's what's coming, and it's going to catch a lot of people. Millions and millions they're going to die, Joe. The Gulf. I made a fast effort to come up with some hard figures of the number of people that will be affected around the Gulf states. I'm very comfortable with 20 million to 30 million people. I'm very comfortable tonight with that figure. It's at least 20 million people. And we're getting closer and closer to the time when those people are going to start leaving down there.
Well,
they're going to wake up and they're going to start falling over dead, and with sickness and illness and DNA defects and babies.
Exactly right. And there's no way that you can accurately measure the amount of people that will be affected by what happened down there. I mean, you can count dead bodies, Griff, but you can't count some of the things that are attributed to that. Like, how many people do you know of, or is there any hard facts out there of the number of first responders and or people that lived in New York City when those buildings came down? Is there any sort of hard count or evidence to suggest that people were affected in minor ways or anything like that? They don't want to measure that. They don't want that to get out. So you're never going to get an accurate indication of just how those buildings coming down
from now on, we'll say 20 million to 30 million people around the Gulf, and put it in that window.
Sure,
now,
but I'll bet you, Griff, it's going to be twice to three times that of people that are affected. And I'm just saying that because you're talking about something that affects every aspect of the human body. I mean, what an intrusion, you know? Absolutely,
yes.
It is. It's a travesty. But go
the
ahead.
The oil is still flowing, and they're still spraying poison into the water and onto the people and onto the coastal areas. And people are still getting sick down there, and they're still sitting there. And they've been told and told and told, and they're still there.
Well, Griff, we may have a window of opportunity. I've done some research, and the NFL talks have broken down. And right now, there's no collective bargaining agreement. And people may not have the NFL come the fall.
Oh, no, Joe.
And we may have a window of opportunity to actually get through to people.
The NFL.
Joe, don't even say that. That's not even funny now. Come on. Not having football and not having we do have the NFL channel, so we're safe.
Ah, crap. But that's my point, Griff, is that unless it affects them directly, and I've said this time and time again on this show, unless it directly affects their way of life, forget it. It will not happen. It will not affect them, and they will not change.
Then a lot of people are scheduled to die because we're seeing inflation and, in some cases, even hyperinflation at the food stores.
That's right. Griff, survival of the fittest. Survival of the fittest. That's what it comes down to. Bought a little
teeny box of cereal the other day. The smallest thing I've ever seen in my life. $5 a box.
For what? What was that?
I have it right here in front of me. Let me turn it around. It is Ezekiel Food Life Ezekiel almond cereal, made by Ezekiel.
I've never heard of that.
It's very good. It's $5
Where'd you get it
a box.
From?
Kroger.
Sounds kind of organic-y.
I guess it is. But $5.
I know.
I've noticed even more today. The animal food, they're the only one that I haven't seen changing is the IAMs at PetSmart.
Yeah.
They're still in 20-pound bags, but some of the others are going from 20